Hey guys, today we are in Italy. We're here with my friend Dino and we're shooting a bunch of things around the Milan area. Today we're actually at the Alfa Romeo Museum and we're gonna walk around and show you guys what's up. I don't really know too much about these Italian cars. I'm gonna do my best to, I guess, show you what I'm experiencing and we'll just go on from there. We are so jet lagged. We are very tired because we just came straight from LA, LA to New York, New York to Milan, and now we're here at the museum. What we're gonna do is we're gonna show you the public part of the museum, but we're also gonna go to their private collection or their private storage where there's a lot of cars that are undergoing restoration and also a lot of cars that are waiting for restoration as well. It's more of a storage facility, so we'll check that out too. What's going on here?
So I didn't know this, but Alfa Romeo actually made engines for airplanes. So they adapted car engines for aviation usage, including the 6C motor, 1750.
This is cool. Look at this tiny thing.
Yeah, car radiator.
Car radiator. 24 horsepower from 1910.
1910, used on a biplane.
That is so cool.
42 horsepower.
Used on a biplane. Amazing. You know, I'm actually kind of bummed because Alphas really, they're not really that popular in the US, and it doesn't make any sense why.
It's a pity because, I mean, it's such an old manufacturer. They've been around for longer than most, and they've created so many sporty cars. Like even from the very beginning, 1910, they had cars that were made for sporty driving, had individual 4 seats inside the car, so they always had that sporty heart, and coupled with design like this. I'm not sure why it didn't have much success in the States. I think people just went for the higher end stuff like Ferrari, Maseratis, but this one here in particular is one I really like.
Yeah, I've never even seen anything like this before. It's the Montreal.
It's actually made for the US market. It has a V8 engine.
Oh.
So they thought, let's try and make something that will maybe kind of seem a bit more attractive to American buyers, because up until this point, so this would be like early 70s, Alfa Romeos were really small when it came to engines, right? So they came up with a V8 powered coupe, 2.6 liter displacement, so it was actually quite small, and they got Gandini to design it, Bertone design, and you can see it kind of looks like a bit of a Miura.
Yeah, that's what I noticed right away. But it's like, look at this NACTA duct.
Yeah, gigantic. So
gigantic.
It feeds the intake for the V8.
But also that's like the Miura-esque kind of like exactly. Eyebrows. Especially it being in this color too. Doesn't help.
This is the most 70s color.
Yeah.
But,
what blows me, I bet you this sounds so good, it being a smaller displacement V8.
I don't think I've ever heard one, but I bet it sounds really unique for such a tiny little
1970.
V8.
It makes me wonder how many of these actually exist now.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a success. I did read up on this years back, because we do see some of these pop up at like Daikoku meets in Japan. And I remember reading up, and it was not the biggest of successes. It was very expensive, and people preferred to buy other stuff.
4,000 made?
Yeah, exactly.
4,000 made.
4,000.
So
it was only made for 7 years. So
about 200 horsepower, a 2.6 liter.
Yeah.
That's not bad, honestly.
That's not bad at all.
I mean, what a cool car. I think it looks great, honestly.
I think it looks amazing.
The design is beautiful.
I love this. This is really good.
It's very 70s in every way. I mean, like, look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell? Look at the steering wheel. Look at the interior. Those corduroy.
Yeah, it's just
seats.
It's 70s in every.
It's funny because if you wore, is it corduroy? Corduroy. It's corduroy seats. If you wore corduroy pants, you would have too much traction.
I can't move from the seat.
You would have too much traction. What a cool car. Whoa, what's going on here?
So this is a front engine boxer layout from the Alfa suit, that red one over there. And if you look at the layout, it's kind of what a Hachiroku has today, right? Like a flat
Oh
floor.
yeah.
Except this one has front-wheel drive. So it has the transmission and the transaxle and onboard disc brakes. It's like completely everything is packaged right there in the front, right?
No.
So drive shafts.
No
It
way.
powers the front wheels. It's like a reverse of like a midship kind of layout.
Wait,
It's all front.
seriously?
Yeah.
This is. Hold on. The caliper is bolted to the transmission. Look at this.
Onboard
Look how simple this is.
So if you look over here,
Well, what is this gonna stop? I mean, I guess it's.
well, I mean, you're only stopping that thing, the red one here.
Oh, it's It's in this. So, it's called the Alfa Sud.
Alfa Sud.
Alfa
It's
Sud.
Alfa Sud because Sud in Italian means south. So it was made in a factory Alfa Romeo made down the south part of Italy. It's like the reverse of the 911. Everything is at the front, where the 911 has everything at the back.
This is pretty cool, though. I really like this. 1971.
Pretty interesting, unique cars.
I can't really quite put my finger on what it reminds me of. It kind of is like Civic-ish.
Ish, yeah. It's got the hatch,
Yeah, it's like
four-door
It's-
hatch.
it's almost like most of the cars around this era had a pretty similar shape,
Yeah.
but you could definitely tell that it is Alpha. I would drive this every day, man. This thing is cool. I love the little what do they call this grill?
It's basically, this is the lobe. So
Oh.
3 lobes, and it's basically the Alfa Romeo, the shape. So the Alfa Romeo grille shrinking over time and becoming this.
Ah, but now it's become bigger again.
Yeah, well, the marketing, right?
All right, Lewis, check this out. I just found something out here. You see this? Round. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this turn signal, round. What's going on with this here?
Got him.
Here is really famous because it was used by the Italian police as a police car. So, it was a really fast car and it handled really well. So the police chose it because it could catch up with anything.
Yeah, I think out of all the Alphas, I think I see the most of these in the U.S. At Cars and Coffee, at local meets, and also at the racetrack. People love building these, and I think they look good. This is the perfect case of a pedestrian car, just like something like the Datsun 510.
Yeah.
Or
I call this the Italian Hachiroku. It's a 1.6 4-cylinder NA. It sounds like a Hachiroku when you rev it and you kind of modify it a little bit, and it's a great handling car. The coupe version looks a little bit better. I'm sure we'll find one eventually, but yeah, it's a great car. A very historic car, and they made a lot of them. So that's a hefty number for that.
over 500,000 made from 1962 to 1978. That's why there's so many. This makes me wish that Alfa was a bigger presence in the
I
US,
totally
because it's nice to have more options for this level of car, right? It's kind of like hovering around BMW, Porsche, right?
Especially with the
around that.
quadrifoglio. But it's a pity because when you come to Japan, you see there's a lot of Alfa Romeos, right? People really embrace the Italian car ethos, or really good handling, not too much crazy power, but like everything is geared towards a satisfying drive, and that's why Giulias do really well in Japan, and the Giuliettas too.
Is it safe to say, and people are probably going to shoot me for this, but is it safe to say that Alfa is to Ferrari as Volkswagen is to Porsche, maybe?
I think people will shoot you.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, Enzo Ferrari used to race an Alfa Romeo before he made Ferrari. So.
Right, but now they share so much stuff. Now.
But now, I mean, it's all gone to kind of keep as many brands alive as possible, going to move.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that Alfa still makes decent cars. Like the Stelvio I'm driving now, I'm
So
impressed.
good.
Like I'm really impressed.
Because what you're saying is like this, for example, the 8C, that's using the same engine as...
It was a V8 sourced from Ferrari. I think it would have been the 430, but stroked, because this is like almost a 4.7. So I think they kind of wanted to differentiate it and make it more torquey because it's a GT comfortable kind of sports car rather than an outright kind of track car. So there's still that link, at least there was 20 years ago, between Ferrari and Alfa.
Right. And then, but now, it's just the more obtainable, everyday Italian car that is sporty that you can own.
Now we have the 4C.
Yeah.
Half of this.
That's too bad. I love this. This is so cool.
So
I'm rarely speechless at these sort of museums.
It's insane. This room is all about design. Look at this. With the disco volante, the UFO, right?
So beautiful. What blows me away is something like this is parked next to this egg over here.
I'm not sure what this is. I've never heard of this. Castagna. 1913. This is 110 years old.
Talk about ahead of its time, though. Look at this thing. It looks more like an airplane than anything else.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I guess according to the prompt here, it's basically aerodynamics.
Yeah.
Its objective is to look just like a teardrop.
Like
Just look at this. This is something that I've seen in pictures, but I've never seen one in person before.
So this is another Bertone Gandini design. So the guy that has done the Miura and the Countach. So you can tell the wedge shape from the 70s very much present here. And you know what this reminds me of? The dome. You remember the dome, the Japanese 70s sports car that was kind of very similar to this? Kind of like a wedge.
You want to talk about louvers? This has the biggest louvers of all time.
The car is
look,
louvers.
Look, the back half of the car is louvers, and the louvers are even the rear quarter.
That's insane. Man.
What a car.
Look at the weird treatment here with all the gold grid lines.
Ahead of its time, really. This is really like a Louvre joke here. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's beautiful. I think it's amazing.
Over there, another wedge type kind of design, the Iguana.
Iguana.
These are all cars I've never seen before. Like I've seen many pictures and many books, but to see these up close, the proportions. Wow.
Yeah. Ital design. We're gonna visit them later this trip.
This is Zagato Ital Design.
Yeah.
We're gonna be there next week, doing really cool stuff with them. So, what a great appetizer this is. But don't you think that cars today are just really boring? Like after seeing these designs, like everything is so distinctly different from one another. Like why can't we do that today with our cars? Everything is so similar. In terms of car museums, I just can't believe how clean it is here, how pristine each one of the models are. It really is incredible, the history of these cars. If you guys are ever in the Milan area, you have to check this out. If you're a car nerd like me or Dino, you have to check this place out. It's so cool. This is my first time here, and this is Dino's first time here too, and we're both very blown away. I'm getting like cold sweats from like being in the presence of this. 1930. Can you imagine driving this in 1938?
How much of a boss you would be?
God, you would be the boss of the bosses.
You would be a boss now if you drove.
Oh man,
this. If you drove
these
this,
things are like insanely valuable these days. I mean, I wouldn't even know how much this would come. I mean, just look at it. Look at the wheelbase on this thing. I'm just speechless.
So this didn't have electric starter.
You're gonna hand crank it. 8 cylinders, man.
Oh man. You have to be a big guy to be able to hand crank this thing, man.
I think whoever owned a car like this in 1938 would have a guy just to start it. It would be like the mobile starter guy.
Just in case
like,
it started and it just took the guy's arm off, whatever.
To replace him.
Yeah.
And of course, this is the engine that powers it, right? So the good thing about pre-war cars is that you used to run a lot of straight 8 engines. Look how long the thing is. And it's got a supercharger.
Oh,
so
what the heck?
With all the aviation engines they had a lot of experience in doing supercharging and forced induction.
And all of his mechanical fuel pump and everything.
You got a carburetor here, feeding the supercharger, and then in through the intake.
But look at this, like even the intake manifold here, it has like all of this fins
Yeah, it's
to
all
keep it
cool,
cooler. And I'm sure it's for strength
And
too.
if you come around this side, you can see very, very basic looking exhaust manifolds. They didn't really know much back in the day, but I bet you this thing must sound absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, like, what if Toyota, instead of an inline 6 for the 2J, what if they made like a 3J inline 8?
Hell yeah.
Twin
Where
turbo.
can we sign up for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is absolutely wonderful.
This is really cool. So, you and I are both big JDM fans, right? We're really big into Japanese cars, but we love all cars. And you being Italian, coming back to Italy, checking this place out for the first time, what kind of feeling does it give you?
A lot of pride. Like, we used to do some crazy stuff back in the old days. I mean, we were at the pinnacle of engineering when it came to engines, and that's even before we get to design. I mean, we had so many coachwork companies here, Touring, Superleggera, Bertone, Pininfarina. There's so many that would just craft these incredible bodies. And like I was saying in my vlog, it was the thing. You would buy the base car from the manufacturer, and then you would take it to coach work body shops to kind of do your own reskin, or they would do like batches of 3 or 5 cars, and you would end up with something really unique. And I think we should really be doing this stuff more, with modern cars. Just get these custom designs made, kind of like what Ital designed it with the GTR 50, right? Create something special out of a production car.
Yeah, because right now it's very special and very weird. It's like they just built 50, I think, of those, right?
Yeah.
And but like you were saying before, that was just the normal thing to do before, right? Even I think Duesenbergs, right?
Exactly.
You would just buy the chassis,
and
then you would
get them
find
reskinned.
somebody to actually build it, and some of them were boat manufacturers that would actually build the body. So that's why the materials and everything,
you would just craft the car as you would want it. It's getting like a tailored car, right?
The joke is that you can't show up to an event like Gotville without a car that has one engine. You have to have 2 engines.
You gotta have 2 engines.
And this is like
Alfa Romeo wins.
2 engines way before 2 engines.
1931. What the hell?
1931.
That's a V12 basically. 2 straight 6s.
Are they even connected though? Like,
I don't understand.
it looks like they're. Oh wow.
So what?
But it's connected. Look, the shifter shifts both transmissions.
Yeah, it's got like a connecting rod.
Wait a minute. So
there's
then
2 drive shafts heading out, right? So there's like 2 rear ends.
one for each wheel.
I'm so confused right now.
I'm really confused.
It's got 2 rear ends. So that engine powers this wheel. That engine powers the other wheel.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Wait. Are they connected in any way?
No.
No, there's just that rod to sync the gears.
Whoa, this is twin engine too?
8 cylinders, so 16 cylinders.
Wait, so then it's
Plus 3.
wait, hold on. Is it 4-wheel drive though, or is
No.
just rear?
Yeah.
And are they connected?
Yeah. I mean, they both give power.
Oh, they both give power.
So
All right.
straight eight, powering the rear wheel.
This is even crazier. But honestly, what I love is that other one, the fact that
They're side by side.
essentially what's happening is that has become a locked diff car.
Yeah.
Because it's 1 engine per wheel.
Yeah.
So then apparently you would have to shut 1 engine down to make a tight turn.
Yeah.
To
It was
kind of
too
like
tricky,
drag a wheel.
Too tricky to drive. Then they came up with this solution, I guess, but upped it up a notch.
That is just
So
ridiculous.
6 liters, straight 16.
So 12 liters of fury here.
Amazing.
Man, don't get out on this side. Look at the exhaust right there.
Oh, yeah,
Don't get on that side. It just makes me wonder what both of these sound like. That sounds like 2 inline 6s. This sounds like 2 inline 8s going. I'm sure at one point, when you're revving it, the harmonics, it would just be so crazy. It just blows me away that they couldn't get that right? So if it was 2 inline 6s, if they combine the power somehow into one gearbox, then it would have worked.
could've
But
matched,
that
yeah.
one has 2 gearboxes.
Yeah. Double the trouble.
One gearbox and 1 engine per wheel. Drive wheel.
It's like a motorcycle.
Without a doubt, my favorite car here is the 155 touring car. This is the 1993 one that raced in DTM. Look at this. Look how cool this thing is. I just can't believe that this is one of the actual ones. What a cool car. Look at that wing. Just everything. The exhaust. All the little carbon bits from back then. The center lock wheels. Speedline wheels. Just that front end is so iconic. And here's the engine. 400 horsepower. 11,500 RPM. Oh my god. That's gonna just sound so crazy. Look at that. What an incredible machine. Best sounding V6, probably. 2.5 liter. It's amazing how much power they could make. I know a lot of you guys watching this probably think the same thing. I would love to drive something like this. What blows me away is how basic the interior was. Even down to that seat. So basic compared to what we have now. So much of the original dash is intact. The cage work was pretty fancy for its time.
So this is the last NA flat 12 that Alfa Romeo used in the Sport Prototype series with that 1975 car. And then for 1977 they moved to a turbo setup, so kind of a similar engine, but they went down to 2.1 liter capacity and added a turbo on each bank.
2.1 liter.
Flat 12 twin turbo. So 640 kilos for 650 kilos. So 640 horsepower for 650 kilos. So literally like 1 horsepower per kilo.
Yeah, they're really proud of that turbo over here.
So 1977.
That's gotta be
Turbo era.
that's gotta be one of the smallest 12-cylinder engines ever.
Yeah,
Or
and then
in terms of displacement,
the
huh?
really cool thing is this ended up powering the Brabham Formula 1 car once Alfa Romeo moved to becoming an engine supplier in the late 70s. So they dropped the F1 and just became an engine supplier for a while. And this was the engine that kind of did that. So the only difference is basically it was just kind of re-engineered on the crankcase because it was like load bearing in an F1 car. So
Oh, yeah.
crankcase.
That's probably why. Well, I don't know if this is one of the F1 ones or whatever, but yeah, because it's structural.
Yeah,
The
so they
the engine is
re-engineered the
structural.
block, but the engine remained the same. And you can see the little mechanical fuel injection here run off these tiny little pulleys.
Oh, that's
It was
so cool.
very much an era of experimentation. You can see the injectors in the intake funnels. 3 liter.
Oh, just 3 liter.
Yeah,
Okay.
this went down to 2.1. For
Oh, but look at the rev. This revs out to 11,500.
Yeah.
That's some engine. Dino, there's your police car. Look at that. That is really cool. I mean, cool to me now, but I'm sure.
It's cool, but this is the car that started this. Because you see, the police, the Carabinieri kept using Alfa Romeos for a while, like 4 decades pretty much.
But not anymore.
No, they still use Alfa Romeos though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Definitely see 155s, 156s, even the Giulia.
Oh.
Yeah. So it spawned, an era of police cars in Italy.
Ah.
Hey.
Oh. They just have random F1 parts just laying around. Wow. look at these. Just one of these are just so special. You know what's funny, Dino, is this looks just like a normal, like an office building, and they just happen to park a bunch of cars in it.
Yeah, it's sick.
This is really cool. I actually like this more than the museum.
Yeah, it's just got that vibe, right? Like
Yeah.
you're seeing something.
This is like a
Special.
private collection vibe. This is really cool. I love all those, look at this, all the seats they have just sitting here. Look at all these tiny clay models, foam injection models. A lot of these are undercovers actually. There's all the supporting things for these, like all of the stands, all the placards, all the accessories for each one of these cars.
These are actually from the previous museum that Alfa had. So all these, I guess, signage and stuff, they kept everything. So it's just been kind of stored around this particular place.
Yeah, and as our tour guide was explaining, because these cars are of historical significance, including the ones in the museum, and they're the actual race cars.
Yeah.
A lot of times they actually have to go to historic events, and in order for the museum to not be empty, they have all these cars on standby ready to fill in.
Exactly.
Because this is open to the public. I mean, this part may not be open to the public.
You can request for like private tours, so you can actually ask them. So they'll do that for you, but it's not often.
Whoa!
Barchetta without the windscreen.
Whoa!
Single seater.
Look how weird that rear view is. You still have to have a rear view.
Yeah.
I guess you don't need a side mirror.
Yeah, I guess that will do everything for you, right?
Well, that, and you literally could just turn your head and
Exactly.
you see everything. But I love how there's a hole where the hoop is. Like your head, it's just part of the wind tunnel.
That looks like it has Watanabe's on.
Oh yeah. Apparently this was built just so the president of Italy at the time could tour the Alfa Romeo factory, because it was such a big factory he could just sit in the back and wave at everybody. Wow. This is really special. It just looks so different compared to so many other race cars we've seen. You want to talk about funny though? Look at that steering wheel. Look how small that steering wheel is.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, I don't even know how drivers used to fit in those things.
Well, but also is right-hand drive is kind of weird, huh?
Kind of weird, yeah. So this is Alfa's Group C, right? So basically they wanted to enter Group C, develop this whole chassis. They even developed a V10 engine, and then decided to go with a Ferrari V12. The V10 engine actually ended up going to another really special car we'll be seeing later on. More on that later. But yeah, I mean, I think out of all the Group C cars, this is literally the coolest design.
It looks so
It's just so sleek with the cover at the back, and
it's gotta slow you down to do a tire change then.
yeah,
To have to remove
gotta
this
do
cover every time.
3 quick release.
Yeah.
At least, maybe they had one guy per screw as soon as they pull into the pits. But
I
yeah,
mean, even just down to like one neck duct to release air, or I'm assuming maybe it's for brake duct or something.
In the Jaguar Group C, you also have a
the silk cut.
Oh yeah.
and they ran it too. So
Yeah,
Oh.
all carbon fiber.
But look at the front end. Look how weird this design is.
Yeah, they had the floating Alfa Romeo.
The floating little like this doesn't do anything.
No, it probably actually screws up airflow.
You know, actually, I do have to say, looking from the front of it, with this design here, it kind of reminds me of the Toyota GT1.
It does,
Yeah. It reminds me of that, but then when you back out a little more, then it's like, it's not it at all. All right, so this is the flat 4 out of the Alfa.
Alfa Sud, but it actually may be the version from the Alfa 33, so it may have kind of bored up to 1.5 liters. But this is a 1987 hybrid. So you can see they just put a massive generator here, run by a belt off the flywheel, and they control it with a ECU to kind of run it in electric mode only, in ICE mode only, or a combination of both. It's basically like a Prius from the 80s.
Look how crude this is. This
know,
is
it's
it's
totally
just a
experimental.
belt that's with a tensioner
Yeah.
run off of the flywheel.
Yeah. I don't even know how they would
It's a
disengage it.
manual transmission car.
Yeah.
You
got
see
the clutch,
that?
yeah.
The clutch. So
And it's fuel injected. It is at least fuel injected. And then it's controlled.
Look at this! Look at this dinosaur ECU.
1987, man. That's as advanced as computing got back then.
This is really neat, and you know what's so funny? It's literally just near the exit here.
You almost passed by. Like, wait a second. This is interesting.
This is so interesting to me. You know, I love this kind of stuff. But
It just goes to prove that Alfa Romeo was like at the very edge of like experiments and just coming up with cool new ideas. They just never had the budget to bring it to fruition or production, which is a pity because the ideas are definitely there, the engineering.
it looks like a motor they would use for an elevator or something. You know.
It's very crude,
And-
very industrial. looking.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I like that a lot. Honestly, this collection or vault or whatever you want to call it is so much more interesting than the museum itself. So if you guys have a chance to book some sort of tour for this collection, it's totally worth it. I mean, look at this. They have just full prototype clay cars here that's stripped of all of its color. There's just so much Alfa history here.
So there's one car that always blew my mind from Alfa Romeo, and it was the 164 with the V10, and it's right here.
Oh, show me.
Yeah, we have to see if we
See,
can-
I don't know about this.
So as I was telling you with that sport production, the Group C,
Yeah.
they designed a V10, which ended up being scrapped for the Ferrari V12. That V10 ended up in this 164.
Oh,
This was built for a series that the FIA wanted to create based on production cars, but running pretty much race car, everything underpinnings. And Alfa actually went to the trouble of actually building it, and then the FIA scrapped the idea.
Wait, so this is like a homologation car?
Yeah.
Like this was...
For the series, come si chiamava il campionato che dovevano? Pro Car. For the Pro Car series. All manufacturers was like, yeah, no thank you. And Alfa Romeo actually went to the trouble of making this. So if you can see back there, on the seats,
Yeah.
that's the V10.
It's so wide. Look how wide this is. Wait, am I...
This opens up in like two pieces. It's like a front and a rear cowl. And you just take it off and you have all the tubular frames.
Is it just me or is it like really wide?
I think it's production size. Like, it looks wider than that. I think it looks wider because it's so squashed down.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Look, it doesn't even have headlights. It's just like... It's just the glass.
Yeah, this is it. The Pro Car series.
Wow.
Got the V10 from the Group C.
So then this runs on everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So the body is the same size.
Yeah.
It's just a big sedan.
Yeah, and I love how like there's an engine there,
Uh-huh.
but they still kept the rear seats. They still got the headrest.
Wait, oh yeah,
So crazy.
it's all finished.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. That's what I mean about
Can you
this
see
being a
the
homologation
line
car.
there on the roof? That's where it all opens up. And you can see the
So rear headrests are there. What's funny is the cover for the engine, all of that is very finished,
no.
along with the roll cage. It's all very finished. It's almost like part race car, part homologation special. You know,
Finished off with the smallest.
the tiniest.
ever.
Well, no, this is like a touring car wing.
Yeah.
This is really cool. You could really tell the difference between this and the 1993 car. What is this? This is also a race car too.
I think this was the IT.
Super
the Italian
Turismo.
Touring Car Championship, ITC, I guess.
It makes me wonder how often they take these out to races or to historic events.
Yeah, good question. I really hope they would use them. Kind of like a Nismo festival, but for Alfa.
Yeah. I mean, this actually does really remind me of the Zama collection. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the Italian version. Look at this stuff that they just have sitting around.
Crazy design.
Look at this Dakar cross
And then
wagon.
prototypes that never really saw the light of day. Like this one did for sure.
Look, we found the wind tunnel testing thing for the
Group C.
Group C car. I would display that on my shelf.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But look how many cool things. Like some of this stuff is just. Oh yeah, like a bunch of these are clay models.
The 8C convertible.
Oh.
And some bizarre ones down there that never saw production.
Look at this.
Yeah, the front.
Yeah, the front is even crazier on this one, and it's even more sloped than the 1993 car. On top of that, that is the craziest window cover.
Oh yeah. I wonder what that's about. I guess they cranked the window a little bit.
Whoa, whoa! Look how far back you sit now, compared to even the 1993 car. Like they had to extend the center console, or they had to extend that.
Literally behind the B pillar.
Look at these seats on this car, though.
It's just
Wow.
There's no padding whatsoever.
Wait, so why is this right-hand drive?
It was made by Brabham in the UK. It was commissioned to Brabham, so.
Oh, so of course they're like, it's here in the UK, so I'm going to make it right-hand drive. So I was wrong about the 155 DTM car as my favorite car here. There's another one right here that is a later year. I think the 164 is my favorite car here. Like full homologation special. So weird. The fact that it has full interior and everything. It seems like it's almost like a finished car, and that's what I really like about it. The fact that it has fake back headrests is so. I mean, they're not fake; they're real. But I just think it's the funniest thing that they left them there, even though the entire back is like tubbed and there's just nothing there. It's just like the whole engine is taking up that whole area. I just think it's so cool. I did find out a fun little fact about the four-leaf clover, though. Apparently, way back when, this racing driver that was driving for Alfa was having a lot of bad luck, and then so he just painted the four-leaf clover for good luck on the car, because just like in the US and Italy, it's lucky to have a four-leaf clover, and he actually won. So then from then on, Alfa has pretty much adopted that as a sign of good luck, and also kind of like the top model of the vehicle. So I think it's cool that it's pretty much on all the race cars.
This is the Diva. This is a
Diva?
concept they made in 2004 to recreate the 33 Stradale, but it ended up not really coming to fruition, but it was kind of the inspiration that created the 4C.
Yeah, it has a lot of 4C in it. But look at this headlight. It looks like a bunch of different flashlights put together to make one headlight.
This is actually powered by V6, so it would be more fun if they went with the V6 rather than the 4-cylinder turbo.
So the design is so interesting. It kind of has like that, a little bit of Enzo, LaFerrari.
A little bit of 4C, a little bit of 33 Stradale in the back. A little bit
Yeah. Dino, I found something interesting. What's up with this? Did Mazda
Alfa Romeo
sneak
did
in here?
rotaries?
Or yeah, is that what's going on here?
I have no idea. That's insane.
I have questions.
We have many questions.
But I also have questions about this wood prototyping, like using wood to prototype exhausts and also just car parts. I think that's really interesting too.
For 3D printing.
Yeah.
Alfa Romeo rotary.
Whoa, we found it.
Experimental engine. They actually did prototyping in the Duetto, but it never came to production. But there you go. Mid-60s. Same time as the Mazda Cosmo came out.
That is so cool. Okay. I think we found our second favorite thing. Our favorite thing, of course, is all the rotary stuff in here. But what our second favorite thing?
The Alfa Romeo stove.
But why? I guess why not, eh?
Why not? It's like Mitsubishi, right? In Japan, they do everything.
Yeah, that's true.
From ships to elevators to escalators.
Yeah.
Cars.
Look at this thing. What? Oh, so weird. Two-door. It almost looks like a really big Honda space shuttle, like one of those Civics from up here because of the hatch design. But the fact that it's only two doors, but it's still, what is it? A six-seater? It even has like wipers for the headlights. Very interesting. Zagato design. The whole back is a taillight? The whole back is a light. What a weird looking car. See, this is what reminds me of the Civic. This back portion right here. Free time. Whoa. New York Taxi Project, Museum of Modern Art. 1976 Ital design. That is... There's all sorts of weird things. I mean, like, what's crazy to me is how many things are under covers, and it's not so much that we're not inquiring to look underneath everything. We just don't have the time. There's so many cars here. We just can't look at everything. Dino found out some more information. This was supposed to be a Formula 1.
Yeah, so this was supposed to be a Ligier 1.5 four-cylinder F1 engine, but twin turbo. So as you can see, they split the headers at each cylinder. One pipe goes to one turbo, one pipe goes to the other across all four.
I've just never seen.
I've never seen anything like this.
It's so intricate. More things to crack, more things to break. But B, I mean, I'm assuming that they're trying to get rid of turbo lag by doing this, right? If it was just one
but the
big
thing
turbo.
Is, the turbos look exactly the same.
That's what I'm saying.
Sizing-wise.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's using two small turbos to make the power versus one huge one, and then it would have so much turbo lag.
And the wastegate is a single wastegate controlling both, right? It's very interesting. And if you notice, it runs twin injectors per cylinder.
Oh, what a cool concept. I mean,
Old school ignition.
It seems like we're seeing a lot of this. Like, this seems like the theme of our visit here. There's a lot of these things that are very innovative. There's a lot of these thoughts.
So much experimentation.
Yeah,
like
a lot
pushing
of
the envelope.
and I mean, that's I guess you have to.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
find
back
the
in the
next
day,
big thing.
they were always searching new ways to, beat their competitors. And with Alfa Romeo pretty much competing in every form of motorsport, they just did it across the board. But I don't think I've ever been this mind blown. Like, I've been to most museums that manufacturers have, but I've never seen so much engineering, groundbreaking stuff if you compare it to, the actual era they come from. So definitely impressed.
I love that. This is what I love. And also this is important enough for them to preserve in their heritage, to show what it was.
It's important for people to understand
that
these guys have literally done everything, including rotaries and stoves.
Al-Sud Caimano?
There's actually a lot of these wheels.
What a weird concept. Oh, that is so interesting. Whoa, my God, what are those wheels? What is going on? Those might be the craziest wheels I've ever seen.
It's 4 rectangles that make the wheels up.
I'm pretty sure that's like Alexa.
Dude, oh, you want to talk about getting sunburnt in your car?
Dude, I would die in there.
Talk about like greenhouse effect.
I would die.
I hope you guys enjoyed that little tour. We are absolutely exhausted. If you want a more in-depth video, definitely check out Dino's. He goes so into all this detail. I mean, he is Italian. He knows a lot more about these cars than I do. But we just wanted to show what it's like here. And mainly, we want to give you guys a reason to visit. This is the best. I love it so much. So, see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoy our Italy coverage. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to support us directly, go to larrychenprints.com. I print and sign every single one of these. This is the perfect gift, or it's the perfect piece of art for your wall.